You hope it will never happen to you, but many Americans become crime victims every year. Some safety experts say you can keep this from happening to you if you're more alert and aware, or if you do become a crime victim, there are ways to defend yourself. I talked earlier with an expert in martial arts who has safety tips for women. I'm pretty excited about this segment because I think safety tips for women and men and everyone out there are so important. In particular, we're going to be talking about self-defense for women. And joining me is our special guest, Lynn Fabia. She is the senior instructor of the International Aikido Association that's headquartered in Dallas. First of all, for those viewers out there who don't know what Aikido is, let them know what that is.
Aikido is a Japanese martial art that doesn't rely on physical strength. It relies on blending. So you don't have to be a big person to do this.
And in some of your self-defense classes, you probably teach some moves. That's what a lot of people think. Women, I can't take on a big man. You can show them moves, perhaps through some Aikido, that make it possible for that to happen.
It's not about size, Angie. It's about determination. It's about your spirit, and that's what helps in self-defense.
Great. Well, I'm sure you've got a lot of us wanting to sign up for that. And you are, this is impressive to me, you're a 5th degree black belt. I understand that's one of the higher ranks for women in the U.S.
It is currently in the United States, the highest rank.
Goodness gracious, so I should stand back.
Not too far.
I'm a little afraid of you. But I really want to get into the fact that we're teaching safety classes for women. First of all, what do we do wrong? Because I know I myself sometimes am oblivious to my surroundings. I'm trying to get better about that. What are some of the things we're doing wrong?
Probably, not walking with awareness is probably one of the basic things most people do, not just women, but you find that with children because they emulate adults. And men, too.
And your mind is on so many other things. So,
yes.
One of your tips for women is to walk with purpose. And we're going to actually demonstrate that in a moment, what you mean by walk with purpose and how we walk without purpose a lot of times. Also, don't go places that are isolated. That sounds pretty common sense. But mention some of the places in particular we need to be aware of.
Oh, probably ATM machines. If you're there at the wrong time, of course. Stairwells, car washes. Places that you didn't think before.
When you say car washes, that one really surprised me because I know I've pulled into a car wash, in the daytime. No one else is around. I don't consider that a problem.
But it could be.
It could be.
Nowadays, society's changed.
Daytime or nighttime?
Daytime, that makes no difference.
So make sure somebody else is in line with you or something like that.
It's not isolated.
All right. You want to make sure some other people are around you. Some other tips we want to give are parking under well-lighted areas if you're going out.
If you can.
That's pretty common sense, but sometimes we don't pay attention.
No.
Know where your car is parked. A lot of times we don't know, do we?
No.
I know I've headed out to that parking lot sometimes I'm like, now, which row was I in? And that confusion leaves you vulnerable, doesn't it?
Just for a second, if you're disoriented, it can make a difference.
Never telegraph your emotions.
No, because if you're tired and it shows, you can be victimized.
So always look
stay focused, determined, know what you're doing, know where you're going. Show some direction.
Yes, don't look vulnerable. In other words, use preventative maintenance with your car. Make sure its upkeep is good so you don't have problems. Running through these really fast because we're going to have a demonstration. Don't wear headphones when you walk or jog. Gosh,
Common sense.
I've done that, common sense or not. Shh,
don't
tell anybody.
Anything.
Yeah, you're right. That's so unsafe, and I think many women do that, to move to the beat out there. Take a safety defense course, which is very common sense.
They're available.
And you offer that. Of course,
yes.
We'll have a number where people can call to find out about getting it at your place of residence as well, not your home. And when stressed, breathe. What does that mean?
Breathing relaxes the body. It calms the body, and we forget about it. And when we're stressed out, we usually breathe incorrectly from upper body instead of from your center.
And how will breathing help you?
It calms the mind. It's a very powerful tool.
Which is important if you are attacked.
And we forget about it.
Practice moving quietly, the last one I want to go across.
It helps your form. It helps you to hear things around you instead of moving loudly.
So when you're saying move quietly, I mean...
It's not tiptoeing, it's just moving quietly. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you practice that, it'll help your awareness.
So you hear everything that does happen around you. We have to watch out for some of those heels that clippity-clop. That's what I'm thinking about as a woman, that make a lot of noise. I want to bring some guests in who are over there getting ready to actually demonstrate for us some of your self-defense moves that you would teach in your classes at the International Aikido Association. So step on in. I think we're going to have Rolanda. Rolanda is one of our co-workers that we have recruited and made do this, and we appreciate you, Rolanda. Go ahead and show us.
We're going to show first with the walking from your center. If you just, this exercise, where Rolanda, if you walk disoriented and have a look of confusion and he puts his arm out and you start walking, that normally happens. Okay.
Walking with her head down, not really paying attention.
Correct. Now walk focused, and whether he puts that arm there or not, you can tell the difference already in her posture.
Yes,
it's very strong.
Confident, strong.
It's very strong. And people are always watching.
All right.
So,
by the way, You want to introduce your...
Israel Rivera is a second-degree black belt in our Fort Worth location.
Wonderful, and thank you, Israel, for coming and helping us demonstrate this. Let's go to the next thing you want
Okay,
to kind of...
I'll demonstrate this first, and it's if I was walking, and most people, if you get grabbed from behind, you're caught in this position, which you're very vulnerable. You don't have any balance. You're not in a position to do anything. Bending your elbow and dropping your weight as you get pulled back can put you in a much stronger position, and you don't have to think about what you have to do. Just being in that position helps you tremendously.
Show again, you're talking about bending the elbow and the squatting position when he came?
Dropping your center.
Let Rolanda get another look. Drop your center.
Look what it does to his elbow. Opens up the door so you can get behind, which is one of the best positions to be in.
And you're grabbing the top of his
elbow. If you control the elbow, you control the entire arm. You move back and just lower your body. I just dropped my body without thinking about taking him down by the elbow.
All right, go ahead, Rolanda. We'll see how good you are at this.
Okay, let's do it incorrectly first. He pulls you back. Don't bend your elbow. And see what happens. You don't have any balance to execute anything. Okay? This time when you're walking, bend that elbow immediately. See what it does to him. Take him all the way down. Lower your body. Makes a big difference.
Well, was that easy, Rolanda? Kind of good.
It's something we do every day is bend our elbow.
Right, we don't think about it, but if you're
self-defense.
grabbed from the back, bending your elbow, basically you're saying that does what? It gets you in that
Drops
center
your
position.
center, opens up the door, changes everything. Puts you in control.
And it looks like a woman can do this with a stronger man. That's a really weak part, isn't it, that elbow? If you get your arm on top of that elbow of a man,
you can control it and lower your body.
Okay, let's move to the next.
The next thing is a ground defense, because majority of the confrontations end up on the ground. You're a lot easier target than if they had to chase after you. So one of the most important key things to remember is if you're on the ground, let's say they push you down and you're on the ground, go ahead and lay down, is to bend your knees. You need to bend your knees. Okay. And the other thing is you're going to use your center, which is the most powerful part of your body, and you're going to bridge your stomach, Rolanda. Raise your stomach.
Should be raised. And why do you bend your knees and raise your stomach? This makes you stronger.
To be able to use your center. If you straighten out your legs, Rolanda, okay, now try to utilize your center. You don't have very much leverage. So number one, bend your knees. Bend your knees. Keep your feet flat. Keep them lined up.
And now we'll have Israel sort of show what would happen in the
Now, most attackers, they're going to be on top. They're either going to grab you, choke you. So he's going to be on top. Okay, excuse me. The elbows again. Okay. You can put one hand on the elbow. You don't even need this one. And as you bridge your stomach, turn your head in that direction, just like you're turning in bed. Raise your stomach and turn. And when you want to get up and then just run, and that's what you want to do. It's an escaping technique that women can learn that have no martial arts training.
Gosh, it looks so easy. So it basically, some simple techniques can mean the difference between being a terrible victim of crime or surviving a potential crime.
Because there's not much time.
There's so much more that people can learn, so we want to be sure when this segment ends to have your number up at the International Aikido Association. Thank you for some wonderful tips. More than anything, we just have to be aware. And sometimes we just aren't aware. Don't just walk around in a fog, so to speak. Lynn Fabia, so nice to meet you.
You're welcome.
And boy, I'd love to have a 5th degree belt. I'm proud of your achievements. Thanks for joining us again.